Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. As you can see, it snowed, not nearly as much as was predicted by the weather app, but that tends to happen, at least out here. I know a little bit north of us, they got a lot more freezing rain and a lot more snow, and Alberta got a lot of snow. We're lucky we only, I don't even know if we got like a centimeter of snow. There's more in the forecast for this weekend and the beginning of next week, but so far not a whole lot. The sun still feels really nice and warm, and it's supposed to be +2 on Saturday. It's Thursday, November 3rd today, so Saturday it's supposed to be +2, so most of this will most likely melt away, but then we'll get another bit of snow most likely. So yeah, I can still see some birds hanging out that probably should have gone south already. The geese are heading out too. We've been hearing them for a couple weeks now, so yeah. I always get a real feeling of magic with the first couple snows of the year. I enjoy snow. I don't like how cold it gets in order to have snow, but I really love snow. So it's always really magical and sparkly, and I think it looks really beautiful. Kind of wish it wouldn't stay for as long as it does out here, but so it's the next day. It was about -10 degrees Celsius today. It was fairly cold, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about what I did today. And today I had the vet out to draw some blood on all of the goats so that we could test them for CAE, CL, and Yonis, and to see if 2 of them were pregnant. So I'm gonna talk to you guys about what all of that stuff is. So as an animal owner, you always need to be aware of whatever animal you have, what kind of diseases and highly contagious viruses they can contract. So for goats, that is CAE, CL, Yonis, ORF, or sore mouth. So to start off with, I'm gonna talk about CAE. So I have this handy dandy contraption to help me keep my acronyms and definitions straight, because it's a lot to go through. So CAE is caprine arthritis encephalitis, and there are some nicknames for this one, including big knees. I'm not 100% aware of the other ones, but I know there are more. It's a disease that's very contagious, and it's debilitating in the way that it causes really early onset arthritis. So goats that have this will become stiff, sore, they won't want to, walk around, and they're eventually just gonna have a really painful end of their life because of the soreness. It also really limits production in regards to milk. And a lot of these diseases there's no cure for, including CAE. So I really want to be on top of testing all of my goats to make sure they don't have it, so that anybody that wants to buy from me as well can know that they're buying from a clean tested herd, so that we don't have to worry about anybody getting any of those upsetting diseases. So CL is caseous lymphadenitis. And this is one that is usually presented in abscesses. So a goat or a sheep, or I'm not sure if deer can get it, but a goat or a sheep, if they have CL, they'll usually get an abscess in... We've got a goat singing sweet nothings to the ladies. But if a goat or a sheep has CL, they'll usually have an abscess in one of the locations of the lymph nodes. And abscesses are typically filled with a yellowy pus. And there's also no cure for this one. And the pus doesn't really have a smell. So that one's a really gross one, and it's also highly contagious if the abscess has burst. If the abscess is closed, you still have a little bit of time before it spreads to the rest of the herd if they don't have it. And that's also one of the things that I tested for today. And then the next one that I tested for, which was really only the older goats because it doesn't present or it's not really detectable in younger animals, is Johne's disease or paratuberculosis. So Johne's is a microbacteria. People can go further into detail, but basically it's a microbacteria that attacks the intestines. In goats, it doesn't always present as a diarrhea. It can be highly skinny, malnourished looking goats, even though they'll eat a ton. So a goat with Johne's will never really pick up weight in their later age. So a lot of animals with Johne's will, in their older age, be super skinny. They won't be able to keep weight. In goats, sometimes they'll have diarrhea, sometimes they won't. And yeah, it's just a really sort of sad disease. If you look up pictures on the internet, the animals that have been tested positive for Johne's actually look pretty sad. So that's also one that I tested for today, the older goats, because again, it won't show up on a test for animals that are 2 or, 2 years or younger. And one that I can't test for, but I thought deserved an honorable mention, was ORF, or a sore mouth, which is exactly how it sounds, blistering or sort of like wart-like things on the side of the mouth. It's a viral infection in sheep and goats. They can both get it. So that's also one to just keep an eye on. If your goats have, sores on their mouths, then just check that out. It's not the same as urine scalding, which is when a buck pees on himself and in his mouth and creates scalding due to urine, because urine is typically highly acidic. So that's why urine scalding can happen. And if you're wondering what that scratching sound is, it's Princess. She's trying to get the last little bits of pellets out of the minerals. And one thing that I thought was also really important to mention is that Johne's can be interchangeable between species of ruminants. So llamas, alpacas, goats, obviously, and cattle can get it. So one thing for me that's really important is testing all of my animals so that there's no chance of contaminating our dairy herd with Johne's, because I decided to bring in a goat that had Johne's. So for me, it's always been super, super, super important to buy from tested herds that have tested negative for a while for these diseases. And yeah, so I have grown my herd quite a bit this year. I may do a little bit of thinning out just to keep the numbers a little bit more reasonable. But yeah, that's what I did today. So if there's a little bit of pink going on around the necks of the goats, it's because we drew blood, and that's pretty much the only way to check for a lot of these things, is to do blood testing. So in a few weeks I'll hear back. Hopefully everybody's negative. I'm very confident that these goats are all okay and that none of them have any of the undesirable illnesses. Was that itchy? But yeah, like I said, I'm fairly confident that all of these goats are clean, because I was very, very careful about who I purchased my goats from, and I was adamant that I wanted to buy from clean tested herds. So I'm just continuing the tradition. Just another step in the journey of trying to get a very healthy and happy herd of goats. I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of a different educational video. And if you did, please like and subscribe and share with a friend. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.